Yes, it's a guy. My brethren.
Mate, it's just
a fellow deacon.
I just want to say,
yeah.
Have you had any other weekend plans recently where the main subject was one of your brethren, one of your bona fide?
Believe it or not,
I think in 2026 this might be your first male activity.
But no. Let me tell you something.
All ears. We are all ears.
Okay, my brethren comes here every year, and he comes here for 3 months during the summer.
Right.
So that's my dedication for him. He stays in my house, and we do things together, and great.
What's that got to do?
I'm just telling you, it isn't all the time that I have female company.
Hold tight. That's not even where I was going.
Well,
all I was talking about was your activities.
I'm taking
birthday parties, retirements.
I'm taking a shortcut.
I don't know what company you keep. I was talking about events that you attend, like the football game up at National Stadium,
right?
Like the party on the X. Right. That's all.
But what's the common denominator?
You. Every time you go to one of these events,
yes,
you're the only man.
Yeah.
Right. So, or the ratios are 20-1 or something like that.
Yes, I did.
And so,
you quote me now. I tell you.
Now, they wouldn't have known that.
Yeah.
But you're the kind the lawyer says, look, shut up, because you're going to talk yourself. All I'm saying is that I just merely asked, given you had plans this weekend, whether they involved male human beings.
Of course,
because often your plans do not.
Yes.
That's it. You decided to take it beyond that. And all I'm saying is any of our regular listeners would know that you often have plans on the weekend. They often involve food, drink, and dance. And that you enjoy yourself.
I do.
Right. So there's nothing untoward with that. Unless you read between the lines. Well, mate, I can't help people read between the lines. I read lines. All right?
I ain't saying no more. The conversation is over, Corey.
Okay. Well, you call me Corey. This is serious. You always serious. I'm trying to think last time wow. Okay. Let me straighten up. Right. What would you like to talk about today, sir?
You know something? It's such a sunny, beautiful day.
Yes, it is.
I thought that it was just going to be, I was getting used to a summery sort of like feeling, and then all of a sudden, 1 week, and it was like,
cold front hitting nice.
I was like, where did this come from?
Ain't it nice?
Yeah. Last night I was rubbing my feet together trying to get warm.
Well, you got new socks now for Christmas.
I do. You know that.
Do you see that?
See, you're good,
How many...
Your memory, you just absorb everything.
I care about you. You're my brethren. You had somebody. You told the whole station.
Yes.
You told all our listeners.
But you got a good memory, that's all. How many of them would have remembered that?
It's not that it's... people, it's not easy being me, right? What happens oftentimes is, like what just happened.
Right.
Now, there's not a particularly long memory to remember you got some socks for Christmas, because this story was a really interesting story. You came home, they were outside, you didn't know who they had come from. It wasn't until you opened and saw the chocolates that you worked out who it was from. Yeah. That was why would we forget that?
You're right. Why would you forget that? You won't forget it.
But, the show I do, right?
Right.
Like, it takes a little bit of memory to do this.
Yes, it does.
So, do you want me to put you in there don't care file so I don't remember?
Look where you're going.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I watched the whole movie the other night.
Boy.
Got down to the last of the minute. The movie was like an hour 38.
Right.
Let's say I got down to minute hour 33.
Right.
I said, wait, I've seen this movie before. The whole time, nothing felt familiar until this last. I said, wait a minute. I think this happens next.
You heard that before.
And I realized I had seen the movie before. So what I'm getting at is either I'm on or it doesn't exist.
Yeah, got you.
But you mind if I ask you a couple of questions there? Nothing personal, nothing about your weekend. Just I'll restrict my questions to the show.
I'm going to have you scanned. Anyway.
For what?
Go ahead.
Scanned for what?
Feel free to ask me. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Here's a couple of questions.
Sure.
Prior to us on the Corey Butterfield show,
Yeah.
dealing with CARICOM.
Yes.
Do you think that the general, when I say the country, right? Bermudians generally
Okay.
had a good idea of not Associated Food, but just even what CARICOM was?
No.
Okay, so we approached this from different angles. I did. Listeners, I felt that the level of CARICOM knowledge was much higher than what Willie thought. And I'm a nerd, right? So I read everything. So I wouldn't necessarily know, right? And Willie is switched on, networked, and grassroots. So you think people prior to I'm satisfied with what we achieved. What do you think?
I'm going to put it to you like this. I continue up until I came to the station today, getting texts and telephone calls and people stopping by to tell Corey Butterfield, thank you. Because,
really? Oh, wow.
seriously, because they're hearing about CARICOM like they never heard it before, and they understand it for what it is, an associate member and a full member. They didn't have the differentiation. They didn't have anything to indicate what we were getting involved in, what was involved, what were the benefits, not what was not the benefits. You understand? So they'll open up a whole new world to them.
Good. When I say good, I'm glad that people are informed.
But the other thing that was said, and I'm going to say this, I think it was a balanced approach toward it. You talked about the concerns of it. You talked about an expectation of we should know what it entails for a Bermudian, and what we can get out of it, versus what we're not getting out of it right now. We talked about representation for those who represent us when they go to summits or whatever they call it, right? And it was a balanced approach to it. We have to realize that people in this country have expectations to any business government to us. Okay?
True. I must say, the thing for me was looking up the other associate members to see how they use their associate membership in CARICOM for different needs that they have. And I think that was that's what really changed or impacted me. Right? Was I had a rough idea about Bermuda and the Caribbean, right? As most people walk around do, right? In terms of our history, but now I know a bit deeper because of my research level. But generally speaking, I think the average Bermudian, regardless of race, regardless of age, walks around with a sort of Caribbean sense. And so I was not. So in my mind, it was about people and products. Let's just put it loosely. And as time wore on, I couldn't figure out why we were not doing the people thing already. Like the people part, I was stuck on. I remember when in fact, I'm pretty sure the Minister for Immigration or Home Affairs or responsible, I think, was Minister then Terry Lister, when Jamaica was given a visa. Like they didn't need a visa to come here, and then that came about, and it shocked me that it came from the people. But I think these things now, having read this CARICOM stuff, that who you allow in your country could impact who the follow-on countries allow. Now, for me, I would say, given you have pre-clearance in Bermuda, nobody is going to end up in the U.S. from Bermuda who shouldn't be in the U.S. Right? Because you clear them here. It's not like they're going to get out there and run, So looking at Anguilla, I don't know if we talked about Anguilla and Turks, but Cayman, because it's been such an example of population, of the economy, of jobs. I would say Asia covers Nepal as well, and we have Sri Lankan and Philippine. So it's very similar things there, and I think overall, for me, I'm kind of stuck as to why the need to go to full member, given the obvious benefits that I know we can get from associate member that we haven't gotten yet.
Yes.
Now, maybe in the white paper, it'll come out. This is why full member, if they do a white paper. But it's an interesting framing, and it's also people believing what's good for Bermuda versus what's good for Bermudians, I think. And so some people talk about the economy rather than the jobs in an economy, right? That's the difference, right? So if you talk about the economy, that's a thing on paper.
Yes.
If you want to talk about the people who earn the money, or the workers, or the employers, employees, all of that, that's a different ballgame.
Yeah.
Right? And so there's something that I've been trying not to say for 3 days, because it came so clear in former Minister Richards' opinion piece.
Right.
And it is the complete lack of consideration. And
in Bermuda, this stretch of road is known.
I'm hearing this, but I don't hear much consideration for the direct state of Bermudians right now, and why Bermudians will be better off.
Okay.
Right, and I'm not being pedantic. I'm being very, very serious about that, because let's take us out of this for a moment and let's just go to Brexit.
Right.
Okay. For Bermudians, okay, we had absolutely no say, if you will, in whether England left Europe or not. The impact on us was massive. Okay, being able to travel visa-free, being able to be deemed EU for the other student sort of schemes that help you get discounted entry to museums or galleries or concerts.
Right.
Being able to get the student card that you can travel all around Europe for next to nothing versus what an adult, would have to pay.
Yeah.
So, to us, you might think, why in the world would you leave Europe? Like, you got to be the dumbest to ever dumb.
Right.
But the majority of the actual people actually impacted by that decision voted to leave.
Yes.
Right? Well, Scotland was almost like, are you all mad? Right?
Right.
So, here, and there have been some fights. One of the things I like here was that we haven't gone in full yet. I'm not sure they will accept us. I'm assuming we'll only apply if they will. But Barbados, Jamaica, and BVI are handling a threat from the U.S. over the Cuban doctors completely differently.
Yes.
Okay? Trinidad angered every single CARICOM member the other day with, I would say, their prime minister is racist.
Right.
And let me tell you, for me to say that someone who is not white is racist, trust me, because racism, like discriminatory, bias, all that, there are things, but racism is a particular thing, and you have to have a certain level of power in order to give energy to your views. This woman could.
Yes.
So, but in any event, she said some stuff that I was sitting back, popping the popcorn. You want to say it now? You want to? No? All right.
I'm still waiting for my popcorn.
There we go.
All right.
No.
I don't know when it's coming. Maybe it's Christmas. It's coming in a couple of months.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe I'll get it then. Anyway, go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah, sure. You got it all out?
Nearly.
By the way, just so you know, I did get a message yesterday that the bartender joke was funny.
I got one that said it was hilarious as well. See, I'm honest.
Well, I mean,
they thought it was funny. How about that? Huh?
I'm not sure how honest you're being if you're only telling me after, like you didn't tell me all this. By the way, Corey, that joke, I got a message. You're telling me after the fact.
No, but I sent it to you. Check your text. I did.
Right. Where were we?
Yeah, where were we? Popcorn?
There we go. Waiting for Mia Motley.
Yes.
To take out, I think her name is Prasad, I can't remember her name, from Trinidad.
Right.
And so I think the whole world was, right?
Yes.
Like, all right, here we go.
Yes.
You don't know why you don't know. And Mia Motley told the news reporters, what you looking for? Basically, right?
Right.
You looking for some tea?
Yeah.
Whatever. We're leaders.
Uh-huh.
We're country heads of state.
Yes.
Whatever I have to say, I'll say behind closed doors.
Yes.
And I'm like, man, I don't know which is worse. Well, if she's out in public, she might say it tamely.
Right.
Behind closed doors.
Oh, mercy.
You know what I mean?
Would have had flavor. Words with flavor.
But I say all that to say, and the reason why I even brought up the Cuban doctors and the visa stuff and the bond visas is because I think that some of the people who are anti-CARICOM believe Bermuda's going to lose sovereignty.
Mm-hmm.
That's the word that I've been seeing by some people.
Right.
A concern that Bermuda's going to have to do what CARICOM wants, or it's going to, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I bring up those to the show, whether it's using the country to... Why are you smiling?
Because I'm sitting there, I'm hearing sovereignty, but on the other hand, people are like, we're not going to be able to do what we want because of sovereignty. You understand? So it's where do we strike a balance with this?
Ding ding. That comes down to the national interest.
Yes.
The first thing written on my paper today is foundational moral purpose.
There you go.
Okay. So what is it to be Bermudian?
Yes.
What is it to be a Bermudian government, a Bermudian opposition, a Bermudian union, a Bermudian billionaire? What does that mean?
Yes.
In 2026, if it doesn't mean something different than if you're in Bahamas or Crete or Tokyo, like, well, what's the difference?
Yeah.
And I think that started with education, right? If education, let's say you had a philosophy, right, that every child that graduates from secondary school in the public school system,
Yes.
will graduate with these qualifications and this potential and these opportunities. You then reverse engineer that,
Yeah.
right? That's what
you.
Well, what is the moral purpose for going full member of CARICOM? It can't be our history, our tradition, our culture, because that's why we went there in the first place.
Yeah.
And if it's to deepen or strengthen, you do that by doing real stuff.
I would think that we would take away the divide. When I say that, listen to me now. The divide being those who are unsure, those who are for, and definitely for those who are against. I think there is a medium between all of that that would say, let's know as much about this as we possibly can. That is their responsibility. I'm talking about the government. I believe if they went out on a limb and did that before all of this, we wouldn't be where we are now with the divide. And I'm seeing it even amongst, you'd be surprised who's talking about this there. I heard some high school students talking about it the other day. Yes.
Seriously,
high school students.
Now we're talking.
And everybody's, I can't even say slowly because I can't speak for everyone, but some of the people that I have been around, they are engaging themselves in the conversation.
So I gave some advice to a person who, I don't know the exact rule,
right?
Okay? But they called me, and I was no near Billy, so I was Corey. You know what I mean?
Oh no!
And told him,
yes,
all the ways that I thought the government could be having a better awareness,
yes,
rather than town hall meetings,
okay,
and the kind of website thing. And one of the suggestions I made, and I'll put this out there, and government, by all means, take it, use it, or leave it. I don't need any credit, so don't worry about, trust me, I don't. But one of the things that I had suggested was, what?
I'm squirming because things have just hit my head.
Okay, go ahead. No, you go ahead. I'm going to remember mine. Go ahead.
When I heard about the town hall meetings, I was like, what purpose is that? What's the purpose of it if you're only going to push your agenda? And we know what that is. The other part to having a town hall is, wait 1 minute, we're missing something here. You're going to tell us what the pros are, but you're not going to tell us how we got here. It still goes back to what I just said. If it was a different approach from the beginning, everyone would know where they definitely stood on this issue for the country and for Bermudians. If you told a Bermudian, you know something? If I give you $5, you are able to buy a steak sandwich. You know that once you get that $5, you can buy a steak sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't get if you were given $5 and say go whatever, you have to go out and search around to find out what you can get for it. What I'm trying to say is, it's always good to give out information, and you can't. I'm going to say this. You can't encourage people to take up your point without we're intelligent beings, without them having a say in what they want. For instance, you heard people were calling for a referendum over this, remember?
Yes.
So we're not going to have that, but we're going to have a town hall meeting. I just don't get it.
What don't you get?
I don't get the fact that if you had a referendum, right, people would be, once again, same situation, they'll be making a decision off of what? No,
you're right. No. You're absolutely correct about it, having a referendum or not without having an education piece is just window dressing. I definitely hear you. The issue that you made me smile about, and I made a note, was there's the town hall and the explanation about why full-time will probably sound like why we joined in the first place, right? In terms of the culture, the history, the traditions, and shared sacrifice and solutions and all of that, right? Mm-hmm. But this particular government,
right?
All right, I'm saying this particular one. Let's just go back, and I won't in any way know more than 4, and there's probably 24 out there.
Right.
But what happened with the Mincy report and the recommendations? Okay, so I would say nothing.
Right.
And we now have, if I get one more video of a fight of somebody under the age 30, right? And I don't have a child in school, so I don't know about fights. I heard rumors recently about drug dealing in public and private schools.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. And that the parents of the students were the big done. Right?
Lord have mercy. Yes.
But equally, right, I know someone who offered probably, where are we now? At least more than 5 years ago.
Right.
To, during the summer, remove the smoke alarms in public schools and put in smoke alarms that look exactly the same, but they can detect vaping.
Oh, wow.
And it didn't happen.
Okay.
So when I'm hearing about vaping, when I'm hearing about fighting, when I'm seeing young men making decisions that just show a lack of guidance.
Right.
Right? Yes, it's criminal in the end, or it's antisocial, but it started with the lack of guidance.
Right.
Then I say, well, what did Mincy say? Mm-hmm. And then they got a second report from Mincy.
Yes.
And then in 2023, they claimed that they were attracting men to the education system, and that hasn't, right? So if you are worried, and let's go out to the end, we're worried about antisocial behavior by, in this moment, young black men. Mm-hmm. And then if you do a percentage, you find out how many graduated from high school, and then X, and then, okay, of you who didn't, why didn't you? Mm-hmm. And then, that was what Mincy did.
Yes.
To go right back to their household, right up to their views of themselves, mm-hmm. and even their views of their parents.
Right.
Well, if that was 2011, and what have we done? And it was so bad that in 2023, the government claimed they have not kept up to this. So I'm not going to say they lied. Mm-hmm. I'll just say they lied.
Right.
They have not kept up and attracted, incentivized black men into the public education system.
Okay.
As a result, we can't even do the things that Mincy was saying we should be doing in 2011.
Yeah.
All right. So that was Mincy. What happened with Hopkins and education? hey, if you go structural reform, that's not going to help you. You need to deal with the quality of instruction. What did we do? Infrastructure reform. What are we failing? Quality of instruction. What's the grades come out and say? They're showing we don't make the international average. Well, how soon before Bermuda schools aren't accepted by top universities? Because the grades
are not up to par.
Okay, so I now come to, and I could do, should I do other things? I could tell you about a minister who bragged about a new asphalting machine, and the roads, there's spray paint on roads all over the island because there are potholes that guys have got to fill with a shovel and a bucket. Should I talk about health insurance and the combination with the health council saying the inequality is going to increase, but there's nothing from the People's Party who are standing strong? So if you now come to CARICOM, the reason why I'm so concerned is because the stakes are too high here. Okay, if they communicate the wrong thing, if the wrong thing is said or done, this isn't just like, oops, we sprayed the car wrong. Oops, I'm so arrogant I tried to get it off the gray list by myself and now the committee's got to save me. Oops, the box stops with me, we'll be all right. No, this is not that. This is
life.
No, well, what I'm saying is international. It's beyond our shores.
Yes.
And it's not like it's the OECD where there's a specific target, right? Tax or transparency or beneficial ownership.
Right.
You can't fix that with corporate income tax and then a rebate if they donate to a charity and then roll on. See, we're good. No, if we get this wrong, it's quite bad. The stakes are very, very high. And one of my things that came to me as I looked at the other associate members, you probably couldn't. I hope he's not listening. But my cousin called me on Monday or two. I'm not sure what day it was.
Right.
And he calls him his nephew's son.
Yes.
Just got back from Anguilla.
Yes.
And cousin, if you're listening, I hope you're not trying to drive. Because let me just say, right, that the conversation is not, I'm glad it wasn't one that was recorded.
Yes.
Okay? But I said to him that I met some officials from Anguilla who explained to me that they look to Bermuda as like the shining jewel of tourism.
Okay.
And my cousin's nephew, had told him that Anguilla wasn't quite where Bermuda was, like not even close. So I had said that in 2013, I knew that Anguilla had a referendum.
Okay.
Really? The referendum was on jet skis. Whether you can have jet skis in the country.
Jet skis?
Jet skis. Now, I was at as it turns out, Caribbean Tourism Organization conference with then Minister Sean Crockle. The ministers had gone off to go do their ministerial stuff, and us plebs and technical officers were talking amongst ourselves.
Okay.
And so one of the people I was talking to was this woman from Anguilla.
Okay.
And my mother had been to Anguilla to advise them on social insurance. So I didn't know, but I knew my mother had been there and whatever. So we're talking. And she tells me, she kept looking at her phone because that day they were having this referendum on jet skis. And I said, oh, so what happens to your tourists? Oh, if tourists wants to rent a jet ski, they have to go to the neighboring island. There was a Dutch island or another island that they can go jet skis. And I said, oh, well, at least the referendum's coming and maybe people will change their mind, right? Really? I guarantee you, you're thinking exactly the way I was thinking.
Right.
So I say to her, so do you think you guys are going to win the referendum? And she says, I think so. I think it's going to be close, but I think we got it. I think we have the numbers. So I said, oh, good. So I suppose your people will be excited to be able to get jet skis. That woman looked at me like I had kicked her cat.
Oh, wow.
What? No. We don't want jet skis. The government was against it.
Right.
The government was against it. I'm here thinking the tourism minister is having a referendum to allow jet skis so that they can enhance their tourism offering. Nope. They were against it. Now, I don't know what, and because I was there for 3 days,
yes.
The next day I saw them, they were all excited, they won. You could not, maybe you can now, but in 2013, you could not rent a jet ski in Anguilla.
Wow.
So, when you see an Anguilla joining CARICOM, you can probably think that they need, so if they need asphalt,
yes,
they probably need so little that they can't get it by the quantity that will give them a discount. Okay, it might be, I'm just saying it could be any number of things like that. So being connected to CARICOM would allow Anguilla to perhaps do economies of scale with other smaller associate members or other full members.
Well, couldn't an associate or a member country do a bulk buy and then divide it?
And I think that might be what they do, because that said, I did read some right here, Anguilla benefits from the economies of scale provided by CARICOM's technical institutions. So it's not just actual goods, but it's experts, right? So if you need, I don't know, climate change stuff, then if somebody can do the region, or we're going to do these 3 countries, you paying for that expert to do your country as well, given they're already doing 3 or 4, will work. So on that, if you have a public school system, right, in Anguilla, what's the test that makes other people agree that your education level is at a decent level or meets a Caribbean average? So it's not just Anguilla. I think Turks even came and uses, and Turks, the Caribbean Examinations Council, the CXC, is what they get from it, and then disaster management, responses. Again, this functional cooperation, right? So these countries are associate members, and they're getting something that enhances that country, something that they lack or can't afford.
Right.
Here, and so we add Cayman to that.
Right.
Okay, Cayman, they also have this functional cooperation. They do some financial stuff. They took on the 25 by 2025. Okay. Now, this is, let me just, because I thought about this last night. This is one of those things that angers me. So there were 3 areas that we brought up on the show that, as associate member, we could have done more with.
Right.
1, September, October, we brought up all of the anti-gang efforts that were going on throughout CARICOM at a youth level, right? So they were tackling the recruitment of gangs of young people in schools.
Right.
Incidentally, mate, did you see the ages of the 3 people arrested?
Yes.
Okay. 3 years ago, one of them was in school. 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know, hopefully won't need to know, whether our hardened gangsters are that young now, or these were people putting in work in order to prove themselves. Because that's a country we have now.
Yeah.
Right? But what I'm getting at, we've been in CARICOM for 20.
Yeah.
No, I'll keep going. Mincy, that report was 15 years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
The Aspen report about race relations was 11 years ago. The runaway cost of living in this country began 3 years ago.
Yeah.
CARICOM has been dealing with art and culture, food security and reduction of imports, and antisocial behavior. And we're an associate member and haven't brought any of those concepts here. You've not heard a minister say, me and my technical officers went down, we've learned this from them. In fact, here is Mr. So-and-so from such and such country. We're going to be here for 10 days training our people to do this, and then we're going to look to do things that way or the other way.
Yeah.
And I know climate change is one of those controversial kind of, is it real, is it not?
Right.
Is it natural, is it man-made? The biggest example for me And there are boaters who can give you clearer examples. But some people who own boats in Bermuda will tell you that dock, that water used to be down here, but now that water's up here, right? When the tide is up, the tide is way up compared to what it used to do or used to be. There's a book, article called, I'm going to get this wrong, I think it's called Downing's Wreck, if anybody wants to Google it. It is finding the Sea Venture.
Okay.
The frightening thing for me was the picture of finding, of them looking. Mm-hmm. The tide is so low that I'm looking at this thing now, 70 years later. I'm thinking, my word, is this climate change thing, like this tide rising might be real, right? In terms of, and so I can't speak about like the impact on the country, how low we lie in the ocean, or how the highest peak and all of that. Well, I can, but I'm just saying,
right.
I don't know about the danger part about rising sea level, but I can tell you that Sea Venture one shocked me to no end.
Okay,
it was pretty deep. Then when we were talking about CARICOM, I read, and I have a couple of other articles I didn't bother to read, so I don't think it's really positive. I did try to show, as she is now, Dame Jennifer Smith, her rationale for joining CARICOM. I think it was very eloquently stated. And I think the biggest takeaway from me was she said all of Bermuda's relationships were financial and commercial.
Okay.
And that there are other things to learn. And she didn't mean just cultural, right? So these health issues, the social issues, the youth issues, education, transportation, right? Yeah. There are any number of other things that other islands might have solved.
Right.
Or we're looking at Cayman, right? At least you and I are. Be seeing what our worst case scenario could be.
Yes.
And I'm going to say it again. There's two things I'm probably going to keep saying. They gave themselves a raise with a low turnout, and prevention is better than cure. That's probably going to be our anthems, really, on the show. No, but you can't, it's disingenuous, right? And I'm impressed that I said disingenuous rather than the other H word that I had written down. But it's disingenuous, right? To say we have this history, this tradition, it's the story of us.
Yes. And
you can't show you've done one thing since 2004.
Right.
To enhance Bermudians and CARICOM member nationals. It's...
Yeah.
I don't see it. This is also a census year. So I think those numbers are going to be, that data is going to be shocking. 2016 was the last count we had. And let me just give you this in terms of the nationalities of, I'll give you 6. One is continental. So let me be clear. In fact, 2 are continental. I know the difference between a continent and a country. Okay, a lot of people don't really. Okay. No, well, you ever heard somebody say, Africa, that country? You got me?
Yes. Okay.
So I understand. Right? Continents and regions.
Yes.
So, really, I'm going to give you the 6. American, the UK, Canadian, African, Caribbean, and Asian. Okay? So if we start closest, right? Caribbean, American, Canadian, British, African, and Asian.
Okay.
All right. Which population, it's probably clear, do you think has the highest population at 2016? American, UK, African, Canadian, Asian, Caribbean.
African.
The highest?
Yeah.
Okay. Nope.
What is it?
The UK.
Oh.
4,088. After the United Kingdom population is the American population. 3,598. After 3598, it drops significantly from 2,755. 2,755. Wow. That's the Caribbean population.
Yes.
The Asian population 2,563. The Canadian, 2,140. And the African, 627.
That's it.
That's it.
Wow.
So it's unsurprising in a UK colony and in all of the shenanigans that went on in the late 80s,
Yes.
mid 70s, 80s, and early 90s to give those folks a vote, to do all sorts. There would really be no telling. No, that's there. The American population, between all kinds of races and ages of Bermudians marrying Americans,
Yes.
given a big chunk of Bermudians go to university in America, which would be the age, not that you marry, but for the age where you might be shopping around and find a spouse. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
And then the Canadians, it's weird because when the basis, it's just the 2,100, but the Asian population at 2,563 in 10 years ago,
Right.
I think they're going to be more than the Americans. Definitely going to be more than the Caribbean.
Okay.
Most definitely. Which brings me to the point of all of those. I have it here in the story of us. Given our history has never been solitary, families, faith, food, music, and the daily rhythms of island life bind Bermuda to the Caribbean. For more than 3 centuries, Bermudian vessels sailed the Caribbean Sea. From 1670s, our sailors worked the salt pans of the Turks Islands, our shipwrights built some of the fastest sloops in the Atlantic, and our families put on routes from Grand Turk to Kingston. We must remember this shared heritage and examine the stories told that fight to keep us apart and ask who benefits from our division.
Yes.
Who benefits from our division? I don't know who does, but I'll tell you what, you've helped them for the last 23 years.
Yeah.
So if it's been to our detriment, this particular government's been in since 2017, why haven't they picked up the mantle if they felt it was dropped by either the OBA or the PLP prior to the OBA? But if this document is accurate and a true reflection of Bermudians' relationship with CARICOM nationals, then why do we have so many Asians here and so few Caribbeans? Why is it that the employment goes like that? Why is it that you are likely to be served, more likely
Yes.
to be served someone from Asia than a CARICOM country in a CARICOM country restaurant
Yes.
or in a Bermudian restaurant, Bermudian cuisine, right? So why is it? Okay, and this is the piece that I thought about saying and thought about not saying. I'll say it. You know, I'm not an idiot. It may come as a surprise, Willie, but I'm not. Trust me, I'm not an idiot. But in my mind, the people who are listening to what I just said would say, well, you idiot, the cheapest labor is in Asia.
Right.
Okay? That's what they might be saying. And business, you try to reduce your costs and maximize your profits.
Right.
That's business. That's not running a country. Like we talked about, the cost of a chicken that's reared in Bermuda versus a chicken that's imported, but the external benefit of that person having a job, of that land being used productively, of all of the things that you import to stimulate the economy to take care of that chicken, to then serve and sell that chicken,
Yes.
might have a knock-on benefit better than importing that chicken would, right? So I understand the importer
Right.
would look for, that chicken's $5 on the shelf. I can bring it in for $2.75 and then put it up to $4.15 and still make money on my thing and save the people money, but still make money and do a thing, right? I understand business. Like I said, I'm not an idiot. But the government, given what it just said, and given it hasn't said one syllable about Bermuda's connection with Asia, not this government, not the OBA, not the former, not the EVP, none ever.
Wow.
Because there isn't there. You can't claim that. There is no claim.
Right.
So how do you sell me the story of us when there's been nothing prior to this that I can say, yeah, man, remember they brought in the West Indies B team for that cricket thing? Or remember we did the blah, blah, blah and the do flicky, whatchamacallit? We don't have any of that. You can't even say we've brought in CARICOM national male teachers to enhance the system because you can't get Bermudian males in it or whatever it is.
Right.
Right? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, so where we are on these populations, then we looked at the produce and the commerce. Okay, and I understand this is my view, but to me, a block of countries who want to be closer, well, it's not geography, right? You're not moving your island closer. So then what is it? It's more interaction, right?
Yes.
What are we looking for? If that interaction isn't like people,
right,
I'm not quite sure what else it could be. And so in this country, you can only stay indefinitely or not even indefinitely if you're working.
Yeah.
Therefore, incentivize work permits from the region, not from Asia.
Yeah.
And for whatever that sounds like, it's just straightforward, right? It's not even, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's, if you, it's not the story of us. If there are more, I don't, I must sound like an idiot. I'm sorry, but I'm just, all I'm getting at is that the stuff that gets you membership in the very first place, right? That says, you know what? We ought to be a member of CARICOM.
Right.
We have this similarity. We have that similarity. If that's it, that's how you get here. You can't then turn around and say, hey, yeah, we have a lot of similarities. We should do this. What is the foundation, right? What's the moral purpose? And I would think it's that integration, that closeness, that something else that I think is the thing that matters.
Yeah.
You know? Can I ask you a question?
Sure you can.
All right. If you were the ultimate, like what you say goes, and you could take Bermuda to CARICOM full-time membership, right? Full member. Have you given any thought to what you hoped would happen as a result of that? Like, have you been, because I have not. I must say, I started with, of course we should be a full member.
Right.
And as things went on, I'm like, I'm not so sure anymore.
I think we have similar views on that, because I thought, I was like, yes, the emotive part of it. You know, I have family, and I have a whole heap of friends there. But then, when I started to read about associate members versus full membership, I was like, wait a minute. But we're not even at associate member status, because we haven't examined what would be to our benefit under being what we already are. So more questions started to come up in my mind, like, wait, so why are we doing this? But it hasn't been made clear. So I'm stuck now. I'm saying, wait 1 minute. Is it to our benefit? Is it not to our benefit? Is it? So I'm still there.
Same way. I mean, well, sorry, no. I can't find a tangible benefit.
Yeah.
Right? I can't, and I know things that are tangible detriments.
Right.
So, for instance, if we wanted to encourage CARICOM immigration,
right,
as a full member, we'd have to carve that out somehow. As an associate member, we could change our work permit policies right now.
Yes.
We could change the duty for any imported product, good, whatever that was manufactured from a CARICOM country. My understanding is we can't do that once, if a full member, because all the full members' tax and immigration has to be aligned so that you aren't taking a benefit or an advantage from your other members.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I just don't. I hate to say. I don't want to come down like this, but I'm just saying. I find it hard to think that we need to. That is going to be a benefit. If anything, I think what we can do now will allow us to have the functional cooperation. I think that if we need employees, and the story of us is the story of us,
right,
then that's where our employees should be coming from. I think it's just that simple. And yeah, I think we're there. Like I said, I felt pretty good in terms of what we were able to do. Caricom, I don't know that I need to do any more on Monday, but what do you think? What do you think?
Unless there's a desire, I mean, really, for people to really hear more. I mean, how much more can we visit this? You know, and let me tell you the other part of responsibility. Our responsibility is you taking out the time to actually read about the real issues surrounding this. Unless that, you're just being put in a position to be told what to do. That's a bad position to be in, because like I talked about before, it's about that political maturity.
That's the phrase.
A maturity of individuals that are called Bermudians, right? Looking into what is best for them, the families, the neighbors, the friends, and whomever who are living on this island. That's what it's about.
It's that simple. And I think we need the functional cooperation. One of the notes when you were talking earlier, and I said I wouldn't forget my thing, which was one of the things that I would like to see, and it's not too late to do this, and I don't know, I think it's probably Minister Lightbourne's ministry, along with Senator Caesar, maybe, or there are other organizations.
Yes.
But what I would like to see, and it's a hard watch. When it says a hard watch, if it's not edited, it can be a hard watch.
Right.
But one of the things that I suggested to someone who has some influence, I think, was having a debate. Right, young people, the Bermuda Debate Society, I think Gladstone Thomas may have dynamic debaters, and I think there are other debaters. But what would happen instead of a town hall, or even instead of just a straight town hall, have a debate, East, West, Central, right?
That's good.
And the good thing about young debaters, I used to be a debate coach, they will do the research. You see me all these papers, they're going to do that as well.
Yes.
And so a ton of issues will come out. Those debaters can then, the next week, say if they were started in the East, and they were in, I don't know, the hole, or some hole in St. George's.
Yes.
And so people come out, they see that debate, there's a question and answer period afterwards. Hey, I didn't realize this is going to be the case, or that have the debate in Central the following week, and maybe the teams swap. Right? So the team that going.
You just brought up a point that I was talking to someone about last night too. The level of education increases when you get school-age students having debates on nationwide issues. And we don't have it.
So we spend a lot of time in the debate society, at least when I was there, having internal debates. But again, our country, there are so few secondary schools, and then so few students who get into debate, right, that you end up debating amongst the same folks. The debate tournament, it normally happens around October, November each year, the national tournament. Oftentimes you can end up with BHS's A team debating BHS's B team in the final. Okay, so but this is different, right? This is not for win or lose sort of thing. It'll be out there. Those students would dig deep
Yes.
you will hear things, and the only reason I'm saying they swap sides is because I debate you. This in debate, sometimes people are so certain about what they're saying that people won't realize this is just a debate.
Yeah.
This is just for right now. This is on this topic. I don't personally feel like this, right?
Right.
And so you sort of have to, well, I would say, particularly as a young person, you want to give them the chance to argue the flip side just so that people understand so deeply. So, with that, I don't know that there's much else to that I wanted to do about CARICOM. I've got it here. So, really, I'll take a quick break, right? A one song break, and then let's come right back, shall we?
Sure.
We'll be right back with more of the Corey Butterfield Show here on Magic 102.7 FM.
man, I messed up, really. I put it still. I'm telling you, Glenn, the proprietor of Inter-Island Communications, say, all right, that's it. He needs training.
Right.
It was supposed. I had it. It looked right.
Okay.
But me and this. Anyway. So you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
You look like you're about to say something. What you want me to do? You on?
Am I?
I can hear you loud and clear. Turn up your headphones. I don't know. Billy's not sure he's being heard, but I can hear him. I think, no, I can.
I can't hear nothing on my earphone.
Oh, are you plugged in?
Oh, you're going to laugh at me.
Are you plugged in?
No, I'm the wrong one's on.
You see that? Now, if that was me, right, there'll be all kinds of licks.
But I could take licks. I'm built for them.
Got you.
Okay.
So, look, Billy, a couple of things.
Yes.
You know how back in the day, we've just been so led lately with
Right.
topics that I haven't had to do this.
Right.
But remember, I would say something like around the world. Really, let's
Yeah.
have around the world today.
Okay.
Right, where we just pick up things from all over the place, and we'll just see where we go with it.
Okay.
And so I thought if we did a round off with CARICOM,
Right.
then I would pull us two round the worlds. And I have found some stuff that's just been in my files.
Okay.
Some stuff I hadn't brought in before, even though I had it. Other stuff I found this morning. So I thought I would do that. But really, we do have a caller. So let's
Okay.
take a call, shall we?
Sure.
Hey, caller, you're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. Fine,
afternoon.
thanks.
Before you leave the CARICOM topic,
Sure.
I'd like to throw in another log of wood for you to consider. I was listening to you talking about all the things that we haven't done in terms of taking advantage of the associate position that we have with CARICOM.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to ask a question. The question is, who in Bermuda has the money to make things happen?
I'm sorry. What do you mean by that?
Okay. Taking advantage of certain situations is going to require the government to create expenditures in their budget to be able to accomplish these things. Are they going to be able to have a headwind or a tailwind?
Okay. I'm gonna just correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if you were speaking about, say, for instance, lowering the cost of living by sourcing some goods or products or services or whatever from the Caribbean, is that where you're kind of thinking?
I'm just thinking about just in general.
Well-
I sometimes when the conversation comes up and we look at the expenditures and we say, and immediately there's a big question about well, why was this money spent for this and why was that money spent for that? That to me is a headwind, and I think that the present government is facing a headwind no matter what they do. And therefore, they don't necessarily accomplish as much things as they could possibly accomplish.
So we agree. Well, I think we agree. What I've often said is that I don't even think Bermuda has too much or too little money. It just has the wrong priorities of the money that is used. So I don't think a country with our budget should have spent $39 million on a floating island, unless, and I think any other country would have said, we're going to build that island and Cross Island up in South Basin and Dockyard if we know for a fact what we're doing afterwards. I don't think any other country would have built a new airport with a functional airport, right? So I think it's all about priority. It's not about the amount of money for me. But to your point, former Finance Minister Bob Richards said that if bringing in produce or anything, foodstuffs from the Caribbean was profitable, somebody would have done it already. I disagreed with him. So to take advantage, part of what we have as a country is we don't really have national interest, which is why many of the things we have are driven by the private sector. And it's a weird, we've always been like this. So, for instance,
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
but the fact that this current cabinet doesn't have any vision, or the fact that they think we should go full when they haven't even maximized the associate, is a deficiency of thinking. There's no doubt they lack critical thinking, but I can show that in almost every sector of the country when it comes to them. Right? It's just, and I'm not being overly whatever, but you would know. Big business is an anathema to a small economy. Right? The more successful small business you have, the healthier the economy is. And under this government, this current government, this party, even the mom and pop convenience stores have gone away, and the ones that are out, it's a brand. Belvin's, Champs, right? There's a brand. It's a chain. And so the mom and pop shop was killed off by gas stations being allowed to offer what they offer, and grocery stores being able to open when they open. Well, those were choices of this government. What made a convenience store was defined in law. And so it had hours to operate that your larger supermarket could not. And the law that determined that was the square footage of the shop. This PLP government, or a PLP government, removed the square footage criteria. And so now one aisle in a supermarket is like 3 mom and pop shops. So and that's just there. By the time you get into insurance and then the state of education, we're all paying the price. That's for sure.
I think in a way you're making my point.
Yes.
You're talking about big business.
Yep.
You're talking about the private business. You're
Absolutely right.
And I'm asking you, who in this country has the wherewithal to do the things that make Bermuda move in any particular direction? You talked about, we could have taken advantage of some of the better pricing from the CARICOM nations all this time as an associate member. But who in Bermuda has the wherewithal to be able to do that, to go out and approach the country, the marketplace, the CARICOM marketplace, and establish lines of trade in Bermuda?
Yeah, I hear exactly what you're saying.
Who has that ability?
Oh, ability. A ton of people have the ability. The desire, they don't. So, give an example. Right? Okay, hold tight 1 moment. If you're asking, is there enough wealth in the country to do it? Mate, there is more wealth in this country than ever before. So, there's definitely enough wealth for it. But some of this stuff about how we got here is down to the very nature of the supremacist society we live in. The very fact that this system has wrung itself out. There's nothing left to keep living like this. That's my point. You're actually making my point. So to make your point further, I will say that nobody thinks like that now because they haven't had to. In the same way that our renewable energy production is an embarrassment given the sunlight we have, but the powers that be earn their dividends from Belco charging high prices. So why would they do something that will reduce, I mean, the oligarch is also the government, why would they do something that reduces Belco's revenue but enhances the country? This is what I keep coming back to, what's in Bermuda's interest and what's in Bermudians' interest. And that distinction isn't something that we've ever cared about. I have said many, many times, we don't have a national interest in this country. Right now, feral chickens are out there and the government is saying you can buy a trap. Not their responsibility at all, right? You can buy a trap. The roads are so bad, and a pencil could change the legislation that says if you dig up the road, you have to pave the entire side, not just the trench that you dug up. But that's still there, because if you're Belco, Telco, Watlington, why would you want to pay the road? You put it back on the taxpayer. So the taxpayer pays the increased price in the utility and pays to repave the road. That's our system here. So if you're asking who in the country is a capitalist entrepreneur who wants to be more socialist. But there are ways, and other countries do this. If you are genuinely interested, what it is oftentimes is governments and or private sector, and this government came in talking about PPP, right? Public-private partnerships. And under public-private partnerships, sometimes you have build, own, and operate. Other times, it's the build, own, and sell, or transfer. So I have a lot of different ideas about how this could work. I'm not clearly saying them on air because they are commercial and profitable. And for the first time in my life, I'm actually make some money if I get these right. But there's more than enough money and logistics in the country to make this happen.
Yeah, would you agree with me that the oligarchy has always been in control of what goes on in Bermuda?
Yes.
Okay. When I was a young boy, it's easy to identify who the oligarchy was, and that you look along Front Street and you could see their stores right there. A lot of those people who were a part of that oligarchy have moved off of Front Street and have gone into wherever, but they are still controlling what Bermuda does. The question is it to their benefit right now to be a part of something like the CARICOM organization? Because they have spent billions of millions of dollars establishing where they are today. If you want to ask them to then move to a new location, then they have to start from scratch again. What's the benefit to them in that?
Maybe now I understand our misunderstanding. We're not having a misunderstanding, but now I understand. You and I have total different perspectives when it comes to Bermuda's future and commerce, and but there's nothing wrong with that, right? Here's my take on it. I don't want any of them to survive. The inequality that the local shopkeeper has brought to this country, the local entrepreneur that dealt with insurance or doctors or trade or engineering or property management or agriculture or food or whatever you wish, pick anyone, has brought so much inequality to this country that they don't deserve to be there in the, if you will, the new Bermuda, the new future where things are better. Absolutely right. Maybe that's where we got it wrong. I don't believe we should have private insurance in a country that's small. Because look at what we have. The government has a pool of people it must insure, and those poor people, retired people, cannot pay enough for the government to cover the claims each year. Whereas the private sector insurers are buying up companies in other countries. They've got profits, they've got shareholders, they're buying buildings, they're getting another work, they're buying pharmacies, they're buying doctors' practices. So clearly, insurance is very profitable for the private sector. So what's that? To your point, you'd be asking, so Corey, how do you get people who made all that money in private sector to give that up in order to make it more fair? I don't expect them to. I don't expect Marketplace to look at the Caribbean for cheaper food because I've lived here and got a brain. Belco blocked, stopped, would not allow renewable energy for how long? And guess how good they are? We're still only recycling tin, aluminum, and glass. We're not even dealing with the tires from fire trucks and ambulances and cars each year that could be recycled. So what I think I'm trying to get at, if this show does anything, the system we've grown up on has done, it's kaput. It doesn't work anymore. If it did, we'd have a functional education system. We would have people flooding IB. Our tourism industry will be full of Bermudian pride and culture. But that's not what happens. We'd have more empathy in traffic. But I think I know how we got here. Right? I think politics has often been very, very, very important to Bermuda in terms of setting the atmosphere, the environment, and the culture, what you can and cannot do, who's in charge and who isn't in charge. I think it's been a very, very, very influential part of our life since the 60s, maybe since the 40s. And so we have a government that has that influence now. They just don't realize, by not talking to the people more, by not sharing principles, by not having obvious empathy, by not taking advantage of a 30-6 and a 25-11 majority in Parliament to change the inequality in this country, by not incentivizing employment from CARICOM countries while watching a whole heap come from Asia. Well, none of that has to be like this. Those are choices this government's made.
I see what you're saying in terms of the government, but my point is that if you are going to be the government, does that give you carte blanche to do everything and anything that you want?
This country, that's the history of this country. Yes.
Right out front.
Yeah, this country's been, until the system changes, yes. This country, the governments of this country have determined what entire nations do when they come here to work. They can determine, we have daylight savings time on what time it is, whether you drive on the left or the right. There is absolutely nothing the government can do in this country. Want to do or bother to do is a different story. I got a call this week, okay, from someone who had a conversation with a government minister. And this person is, well beneath a minister, but they have an idea. And they suggest this to the minister. The minister's so disappointed this person that they called me and they said, Corey, I'm done. And if I was to tell you who the minister was and what the initiative was, it's only in the national interest. Only. Okay? And it would only impact non-Bermudians. And this minister said no. Even though this thing ought to happen. Okay? So the performance we have, the state of our country, the direction the country is going in, isn't just bad politics. This is not Bermudian in terms of how we've been successful all this time by being empathetic, by having high standards, by intervening when that young person is acting up. We don't do any of those things. And then you add in social media and everybody's on a stage.
Bermuda is a different kind of place.
I agree with you.
I understand what you're saying, that the government should be able to do whatever they feel is right, irregardless. But do you know the Bermudian people? If we upset what is going on in Bermuda in any significant way, particularly if initially it appears to be in a negative way, then we Bermudians will not be appreciative of that. And if a government is in place and they feel like they have a vision that is, going to benefit everybody, but they're taking the long way as opposed to the short way, then maybe we need to look at that, maybe consider that, and not see it as regressive, but as progressive, in a way that is going to be not detrimental to us all. The worst thing that any government could do right now would be to put us in a situation where we are that truly third world country, because Bermuda will be the person or the group of people who will rise up the highest and make the most noise.
Rich Bermudians, you must be crazy. you see what's happening in our education system, our taxes, man. Look, let me just, I got to go because I have other calls that I've been trying to come through, but I will say this part. And this is something that comes from politics globally, particularly in political communication. If the people do not agree or understand that what you want to do is in their interest, that failure is on you, the government, not the people. Because you have everything in your toolbox. Media, civil servants, people, law, regulations, to convince people that this is the thing to do. If people aren't convinced, that's a failure on you, not on the people. That's your standard around the globe. So if the government has a vision, let's say that this CARICOM thing, and yet, let's say they haven't convinced me that's a good idea, I'm not saying that they owe me anything special. But if I can look up my own stuff and come to a conclusion, and they aren't looking up that stuff to answer my conclusion, then I'm only left with my conclusion. I would say that the governments, and this is, again, part of it is the racial element in here, but I want you to consider a government that wasn't even a party. Okay, we're talking about the OBA here. They weren't even a party 3 years before they came government. And what did they do? Without knowing if the BPSU was going to riot and then call out the BIU, they said we're taking tourism from a ministry to an authority. What you might not know was every employee of the BTA in New York then got job insecurity, because in New York there's something called at will. You can show up to work and your boss can fire you at will with no reason. When they were working for the government of Bermuda, they were working under the laws of Bermuda for employment laws. Once they were working for an authority, they're no longer working for Bermuda foreign government, so they were subjected to the conditions of New York. Okay, that's just one thing, but the OBA did that with a majority of 2. Then they held $100 million yacht race. And thirdly, they did the airport. That's with a majority of 2. So can a government do whatever they want? Absolutely. My co-pilot here was down that airport and up Parliament getting pepper sprayed and holding placards against that. So yes, successive governments have always done what they want to do. But I gotta run. I gotta take a couple other calls. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
All right, you take care. Have a good weekend. Good afternoon. You on the air?
Wow, Grand Rising, brother. Hey, I was tired. I was got so interested in intro. I got hypnotized. Okay, Grand Rising, brother. How you doing?
Sir,
Grand
always
Rising,
good.
yes.
Yes, indeed. That was a beautiful intro. I like the song, You Got a Friend. I also like what I'm thinking about. A change is going to come.
Yes.
I want to say hotep to you all. Peace. And give you flowers.
I want to thank you.
Yes.
Keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on, because we need to share the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
We need to share the theory about what CARICOM is all about. CARICOM, in my opinion, should be about unification. It should be meaning that the unification of countries like us. I should say us. Yeah, I'll say us. Third world countries, Jamaica, Guyana, Costa Rica, you name it. Help me out here.
Yep.
Yes.
We need to come together, because what I'm saying here, we have to learn. Change is going to come, like I mentioned, but we have to learn to do this thing, because our society is just too much. So what I'm saying again, oh man, there's so much in my brain. Help me out here. Food, the economy. We have to do this thing where define the word CARICOM. Okay, some people want to know what it's all about.
Yeah.
The debate, like we're speaking about, for the young folks to get together. That's a good situation right there. You know, we got to start with the youth also.
Yeah.
To let them be more aware of what's happening. Somehow already, mind you.
Yes.
Somehow
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, but no, you're right.
And definitely that. And what I'm saying is that when it comes to the food, because we dependent on the UK empire, we need to break away from the mindset, because we've got to live in fear. When you live in fear, it's not much you can do for oneself. So I always have the saying, thyself and the creator with you. So carry on with this here. And let's say we want food, we can rent a boat, a plane, whatever the case might be.
I'm with you.
I think this came up one time ago. I'll get off in a minute. One time ago, somebody mentioned something about leasing land on Costa Rica or Guyana.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? Now I'm trying to put it all together, but I guess I'm going to have to start writing stuff down. But
No, but you're right. I remember, in fact, it was that and Ghana. I had told some guys who were trying to get 20 acres in Ghana and have that earmarked for sort of Bermuda Reserve.
Aquaba, and so forth.
Yes.
Guyana.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Guyana. You hear me now?
Yes.
I hear you.
We got to work this thing down. We got to work it out, because the time is coming.
Yeah.
The orange person's lost his foreign mind. You know that? And we also know that the economy out there, the banks and the food, people going to go in there and start fighting like they used to do before when they was in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Absolutely.
And right now I tell my daughter, I said, start putting that food on the bed like my mom used to do here in Bermuda.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get your dry goods, your flour, your rice, and all that, put it underneath the bed. Desmond, goes underneath the bed, pick up so now forget that. And I'm
There we go.
75 years old. You feel me?
I do.
So
Yes.
these are the things we have to put up front about what's going to happen or what is happening.
Yes.
Not only the illusion, because that is an illusion out there right now.
Yes.
It's been an illusion, but I won't go there about that right now. But we got to do what we have to do here in this island. And it's very important because we know who's to the degree and who's got the money and who doesn't.
Has and have-nots, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So, and they got, I got mine, you got yours, that mindset. So, no, I'm going to say other things. Really, I'm going to keep in touch with you.
Yes, sir.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And you guys be strong.
All right, you have a great weekend.
Yes.
Anyway,
All right.
24/7.
Yes.
Take care.
Okay.
Yes,
Power.
sir.
All right, sure.
We got another caller, really. Hi, caller. You are on the air.
Good day, gentlemen.
Yes.
Good
Good day. Good day.
Good day.
It has been
You know?
made very clear that we have a present administration that has been paying lip service to the people, at the same time shocking the people. And I think that because you have exposed that, seemingly is upsetting some people.
Indeed.
And I think that I want to thank you for what you're doing and continue doing it.
I want to thank you for that sentiment.
And our people are a lot more enlightened. And your job is not easy. But you guys are sticking to the wickets.
Here we
I
are.
want to commend you and encourage you.
I want to thank you.
And I just certainly hope that our people are really paying attention.
Yeah, I must say the callers that we're getting, some of the comments we're getting, I think really assures me when it's out in the street, because you know me, I'm him. I think we're waking up other lions, that's for sure. Yeah, I thought you'd giggle at that one.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
All right,
Yes, sir.
thank you very much. All right, take care.
Be encouraged.
All right,
Yes,
we
sir.
will. All right. Okay.
Yes.
Really, this feels wrong. I'm not going to do this now, right? But remember I told you about around the world?
Yes.
I bought in some stuff, right, that I thought was kind of light, but it seems different now, right? So can I read just one and I want your opinion, right?
Okay.
If later on you will say, Corey, you probably shouldn't have done that one, you get to say it on air. So I want your opinion of this story.
Yes.
Okay? This was a proclamation in the Royal Gazette, December 1787. A proclamation. Whereas the Provost Marshal General of these islands has complained to me, so this is a proclamation from the governor, right? That some wicked persons, to him unknown, have committed a most daring and atrocious offense. Would you like to take a guess what this offense is? This is 1787.
1787. Let's see. Atrocious. Boy, that could be a number of things back then.
Well, I'm gonna read this one, and let me know if you've heard about any other offense like this since 1787.
Okay.
All right. It's the governor, right? His Excellency William Brown Esquire, Captain General, Governor, Commander-in-Chief, and Vice Admiral of these islands, a proclamation. Whereas the Provost Marshal General of these islands has complained to me that some wicked persons, to him unknown, have committed a most daring and atrocious offense by breaking last night with force of arms into His Majesty's jail in the town of St. George's and liberating therefrom a certain Mary Darrow, a white woman who was confined to the said jail on a charge of felony. These fellas were trying to broke out this woman from jail, right? I do therefore hereby strictly charge and require His Majesty's Justice of the Peace, that's me, and for these islands the constables of several parishes in these islands, and all other His Majesty's liege subjects within this government to use their utmost endeavors for the retaking of the said Mary Darrell, and for that purpose that due and diligent search be forthwith made. I do hereby offer a reward of, ready for this? £100. This is 1787.
Wow, that's serious.
Current money for the apprehending of the said Mary Darrell, to be paid out of the public treasury of these islands whenever it shall be again committed to His Majesty's jail, and also a reward of £20, like current money, to be paid to any person who shall give information of the place where the said Mary Darrell is concealed, so that she be apprehended and again committed as aforesaid, or shall give information to the offender or offenders above described, so that he or they be prosecuted to conviction. And further, I do hereby strictly forbid all masters of vessels to carry the said Mary Darrell off these islands, as they will answer the contrary at their peril.
Wow.
A fella broke into the jail.
Mercy.
Got his woman up. I just, mate, have you ever heard of somebody breaking in somebody out of jail in Bermuda?
Listen, man, you can't live without them. You gotta break them out, brother. Okay?
Really?
Break them out.
I'm sorry.
It's a song by that, you know, I Can't Live Without You. How does it say? I can't live if I'm living without you.
Yes, the song is a ballad. Yes,
yes.
I know this song.
And it's a reggae one, too.
Oh, yeah. You fella.
Yeah, follow one of this baby.
I'm just saying. Anyway, so that was one of the things I was going to read, and I just... That was 1780. I mean, I have another jailbreak.
Right.
It was from 3 years before, though, 1784.
Okay.
Two fellas. Whereas John Christmas, a white man, lately committed to His Majesty's jail in the town of St. George's for want of surety and a breach of peace. So this fellow was arrested, right?
Right.
He had to pay a bond to then stand charged with breach of peace. He couldn't pay the bond, so they locked him up, so he escaped. I'm like, you, mate, you're locking me up about the crime. What's the point to hang around to be convicted and locked up again? So that was John Christmas. And James, a Negro man, also lately committed to the same jail on suspicion of felonious intent, have both made their escape therefrom by breaking open the said jail sometime in the night of the 28th.
Go on.
I do therefore hereby in His Majesty's name request all His Majesty, and the same thing about justice of the peace. 1784 and 1787.
Gotcha.
Really, I found something else that I kind of have to tell you about that we were right about.
Oh.
I'll do that one in a minute. This letter to the editor I found, again, I was doing something else. You know how that corner of my eye?
Yes.
So I would like to read this letter to the editor because really, this might be, we don't get a whole... Anyway, let me read the story, the letter to the editor, and then afterwards I'll explain why I'm even reading this and what it did, why I found it funny.
Okay.
To the editor, dear sir, we all know that and I will tell you the year afterwards.
Okay.
We all know that for a great many years back, in fact, since time immemorial, the great city of Hamilton has been without adequate public toilets for white people. This curious omission has been borne with the fortitude of subtropical inertia, meaning it's been forever and it's unlikely to change because of how slow time moves in subtropical, in these islands, right? However, the city fathers at last, aroused by an indignant public opinion and the necessities of our visitors, constructed quite admirable public toilets, white tile, brass nameplates, running water, and caretaker complete. Well and good. We breathe with relief. Our troubles are over. Sounds good?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're done?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
But imagine, Mr. Editor, our consternation when we attempt to use these toilets. They are not for us, we are told, but only for cruise ship tourists. All this beautiful tile, brass plates, running water, and caretaker is not for us, who have suffered so long, but for cruise ship tourists only. At such a point, it is not well to thwart a man in his intention. So we ask, says who? That's my instruction, says the caretaker, with just that touch of accessibility familiar to the bureaucrat. Only for tourists and not for the public. And so, Mr. Editor, we turn to you in our despair. Tell us if it is possible for the city fathers to refuse us admission to our own toilets. You know, when I read this, I couldn't stop laughing. I mean, I couldn't stop laughing. Imagine, right? The guy saying, we white folks need toilets. And thank God they put in these sporty toilets for us.
Yes.
And now he's saying, no, well, mate, welcome aboard. Everything in the country wasn't for us. Every school, everything that... I'll never forget the first time Buzzman we had Arlene Brock talking about taking her chairs from West End to Somerset Primary.
Right.
And this guy, and so imagine they stroll up. But could you imagine the scene? I wish the caretaker was black. If that person taking care of the toilets was black, like, nope, not for you.
Yes.
Couldn't you imagine?
Yes.
Right? Tourists only. I like to see the sign.
Wow.
Welcome aboard. That's what they,
Yeah.
did.
The year.
Right.
35. I was going to say 1945.
36. 35.
35? Okay.
December 35, January 36.
Okay.
Before we go on with some more around the world, we got a call.
Okay.
Hello, caller.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Listen, so far you moved to the front of the class. Is it anything higher than an 8 class?
A star.
No, help me out, because you two are two good learned gentlemen.
You're being kind.
I would like to think it's being honest.
I am being truthful.
Okay.
That's what I'm being.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So listen.
Yes, sir.
How it says, blow the trumpet in Zion?
Yes.
You guys just keep blowing the trumpet in Zion, right?
Okay.
Okay.
And I am sick and tired of saying it. We've been had.
Hoodwink, bamboo.
Yes.
You got me saying it now. I'm out.
Just keep saying it, cuz.
I am.
Listen, man. And the worst part about it, the blind loyalists to him think that they've been doing something great. When you're laying right out what better they can do.
True.
And like, that's why I think I got away from being Rhonda myself and God rest her soul. She encouraged me, Miss Laverne Farber encouraged me to become a member of a political party, right? And get in central committee meetings and all of that type of stuff, right?
Yep.
But when a sitting premier lost a seat to be a member, which was I would call a stronghold of the PLP. Am I correct?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. It then showed you where we were going. And then, like you said, you'll be able for 2 seat advantage. Put the cracker-lackers right there. Okay?
No, that's street talk.
Cracker-lacker right on.
Oh yeah.
Now let me make it clear. The minister for immigration or whatever, he was there when I was getting pepper sprayed with him. Okay?
Yep.
And the same stuff is still happening.
Yes.
Like, it just sickens me.